Good evening and welcome to Face to Face. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Niresh Eliathambi. I'm very pleased to welcome to the show tonight Mr. Martin Klose, who is the Chief Delegate of AHK Sri Lanka. That is the delegation of German industry and commerce in Sri Lanka. And Mr. Malintha Gajanayake, who is the Head of Corporate Affairs and Export Promotion at AHK Sri Lanka. Good evening and welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Right. So we are going to discuss a very significant event which is happening in a few days' time, and that is the Sri Lankan German Business Forum 2026, which is this very large and significant event taking place at two locations in Colombo. And to talk a little bit more about it, let me invite Martin to take us through what this event is, this business forum, and what it entails. Martin?
Right. It's actually a 3 days event which we planned. We start off with looking into the Sri Lankan startup scene here, providing the opportunity for young Sri Lankan startups to pitch. And then we move to the main event on the 28th. That is basically an opportunity to exchange, to build trusted partnerships. That's the key theme of the event. We want to connect Sri Lankan and German companies on a very specific topic. We want to talk about the maritime sector. We want to talk about the strategic position that Sri Lanka, Port of Colombo, certainly has, and what it means in this geopolitically, I would say, complicated times. This also opens opportunities for Sri Lanka, and that's why we choose this as a topic for our event.
Wonderful. And Malintha, you've of course been with HK for quite some time, I think about 7 or 8 years.
Correct.
Right. And would you like to add some more details of this event, which I think is on the 27th, 28th and 29th of May?
Correct. Niresh, first of all, thanks for having us at this show. And yes, as you correctly mentioned, the Sri Lankan German Business Forum we see as one of the main events for us as an organization, as also for both countries. So we will have a 3-day, as Martin mentioned, a 3-day program starting on the 27th. We will give opportunity for startups in Sri Lanka from the IT industry to pitch their solutions, to showcase what Sri Lanka can provide to the international partners from the IT or the startups sector. So that's on the 27th. So that will be also like a kickoff event of this program combined. And then we move to the main program, which is a full day conference happening at the ITC Ratnadeepa Hotel in Colombo. We are expecting about 400 guests, both from Germany, political leadership, and also some business delegates coming in, and also a Sri Lankan business community here in Sri Lanka to connect with these business activities. We have few interesting panel discussions on the first day. On the second day, at the main conference, as Martin mentioned, giving more emphasis on maritime and logistic, but also we have not forgotten Sri Lanka's exports. We speak about GSP Plus, the benefits what Sri Lankan exporters can gain through GSP Plus. That's one panel. And also we also speak about financial instruments for these large infrastructure projects through our third panel. And also Niresh, on the fourth, the last panel, we have dedicated for success stories. We have quite a big number of German companies which we will discuss later. So we think that's also important for us to showcase the world that our success stories.
Excellent. And Martin, looking beyond this forum itself, what would be the broader objectives? Because your organization has some very specific objectives to strengthen business relations. Would you like to speak about that and how this forum showcases that?
Exactly. Thank you. Yes, our objective is to foster the economic bilateral relationships. We are part of a worldwide network of AHKs, and which means it's an abbreviation of German chamber in abroad, if you want to put it that way. So our mission is in all of our host countries where we are to support the bilateral relations, and that's exactly what we do here also in Sri Lanka. And the best way to do that is, after we discussed it a lot also in our team here, we will do really a flagship event identifying certain USP which we see in Sri Lanka, which we want to showcase to in this case Germany, obviously, and to the German companies, to the German investors, and make them see that, hey, look, Sri Lanka is having a lot of opportunities coming up when it comes to the port of Colombo. And there are a lot of German companies very active in the logistics side, and it's a good match. So look at Sri Lanka and participate in whatever is coming up here.
Right. Now, Malintha, this is a very high-profile event, 400 participants, and I believe the chief guest is the Prime Minister, and you have chosen maritime industry for this event, but you're hoping to make this something like an annual event where you will focus on other industries as well.
Absolutely, Niresh. So this time, as Martin mentioned, we thought, okay, with everything what's going on around the world, we thought, okay, maritime and logistic, this has been spoken about when it comes to Sri Lanka with our strategic location. Yes, this time it will be on that topic, but then certainly we have many other topics Sri Lanka can use as a USP, namely tourism. So you can say vocational training. We have a high skilled workforce in Sri Lanka, so that can be spoken about. So this will continue in the future, most likely, and we will focus on certain industries that Sri Lanka can benefit, and also where German companies also can benefit. So it's a more of a mutual beneficial initiatives that we are thinking about in the future as well.
Excellent. Martin, this event seems to me to be one which will greatly strengthen the relations between the countries, but Sri Lanka and Germany have had a very long history of diplomatic relations. Would you like to elaborate a little bit on that long history?
Sure. There is a long history, decades of diplomatic relations, and during good times, during hard times, I believe Germany was always a good partner here to Sri Lanka when it comes to support, when it comes to initiatives in various sectors like energy, and especially in topics of vocational education. There is really a deep connection between our both countries, and that continues until today. If you look at 2025, it was a year when both the Prime Minister and also later the President visited Germany, having high-stake political meetings there and initiating this kind of discussion and exchange of economic roundtables, which we want to continue also with this event. So there will be also there will be a delegation from Berlin coming from the political side, people that met with the Prime Minister and with the President also, and so this is meant as a continuous event to more deeply discuss about topics and potentials where we can work together.
Right. And how does AHK, your organization, fit into this? Because it is strengthening relations between the two countries while more specifically working with industry.
We have an official mandate from the German Parliament, and we are supported by the Ministry of Economics in Germany, partly. And the clear mission there is actually the support of the bilateral relations. No? So we do that on the private sector side. Embassies is another pillar. If you look at German export promotion, overall, it's always said there are three pillars. One are the embassies, of course, with their diplomatic function and also with the flancation of larger investment projects on the political side. Then we have an organization which is called GTAI. They are actually looking at promoting inbound investments into Germany, and the third pillar are the IHKs. So we are supporting, let's say, from the German perspective, the export related activities, and of course also investment activities.
Right. Malintha, you've been with AHK some time. Anything that you'd like to add about it?
Well, yes, a few important points I think we touched on. See, Germany has been a trusted partner for Sri Lanka over the years. Yes, we have a long-standing relationship, both diplomatically and also economically. We see a lot of German companies have been here, gone through a lot of challenges, but still they are here. We have seen a lot of, troublesome periods for businesses, but then they have stayed committed for Sri Lanka. That shows a story and as AHK, as a Sri Lankan, when working with the AHK, we see that the German investors, we speak to them very often. They say, okay, yes, there are challenges, but then they will continue. So that's like a that says it's a trusted partnership going for years. And as Martin touched on several industries, Germany has invested on many projects that are sustainable projects, I would say. For an example, the German tech, which we all know, a lot of Sri Lankan skilled workforce were able to be exposed to latest technologies and also to build their careers, not only in Sri Lanka but also internationally. They were recognized through this German tech certification, which is still up and running. And also some of the hydropower plants, which are also some investments from Germany.
I think the Mahavali projects in the 80s, if memory serves me correctly, Randanigala Dam and Reservoir and Rantabe, both Correct. Were through funding by the German government.
Absolutely. So those are significant investments, and looking at not only short-term but long-term investments that we looked at. And if we are speaking about AHK, it's an investment. that showcase Germany is looking at Sri Lanka in a strategic, in a good manner. Because we promote bilateral relationships. We also support Sri Lankan companies to partner with German or companies, German brands. So those are some of the things, Niresh, I would like to highlight speaking about the bilateral relationships.
Right. Martin, what about the number of German companies which are present here in Sri Lanka in some form or the other, perhaps through trade or perhaps through investments, production facilities? Would you like to talk a little bit about those companies?
Certainly. If we look at companies or German brands who are active here, you will see that there is quite a large number. I believe it's over 300.
300 plus,
who are active here, either directly with own investments or represented by Sri Lankan companies in either in joint venture structures or as a distributor of this product. So there is quite a large variety, and it goes from cars. We of course have the Mercedeses and the Porsches here in Sri Lanka, and many others, BMWs, and then we do also have actually that's actually the largest investment here in the country is Allianz, the insurance group from Germany, rooted in Germany, but actually very, very internationally active nowadays. We do have Continental producing large tire segments, specialty tires here. We do have many other companies who produce also in the textile sector in certain niche areas, in automotive in certain niche areas. So it's quite developed actually already.
Quite diverse, I would say, Niresh. Martin touched on few industries, and also I would like to emphasize or highlight medical industry, logistic and maritime. German companies, German brands are quite active. Tourism.
Yes.
We have world market leaders like TUI, the world leading tour operator in the world, who are on ground. So as other industries, we have also what you call in Germany, Martin, like companies like Wirth and Bosch.
Yeah.
They are named like.
You mean like hidden champions? Right?
Hidden champions.
Wirth is definitely a good example of that. Hidden champion means it's a family-owned business with a product that's used everywhere in all the construction of a condominium, or in a shelf, or whatever, or in a car, whatever you have. But it's kind of hidden. It's not. It's not. You will not recognize the product by simply looking at it, but in their context, those hidden champions are world leaders, no?
For Sri Lanka, like economy like Sri Lanka, Niresh, I think 300 plus German brands is quite an achievement.
That's a very significant number,
absolutely,
isn't it?
Absolutely, though it's not much visible, but on a day-to-day basis, I think we use some sort of a German brand.
Yeah.
So yes, and even if you talk about construction, the sanitary ware, that's world market leaders are in Sri Lanka. So the quality, that standards has been transferred to the Sri Lankan citizens.
Right. Malintha, do you see the quantum of business between the two countries increasing as years go by?
Absolutely, we have seen that, Niresh. We have seen that, and we are also supporting these brands, of course, with our official mandate. We have certain committees at AHK Sri Lanka where we discuss the challenges, the new proposals for their day-to-day businesses, and we, as a neutral organization, we take to the relevant authorities and we try to support the existing German companies here to ease of doing business. And of course, we see a growth. For an example, investments like Continental, they have expanded their investment. Linde, who is producing medical and industrial gases, which is a very critical segment for the medical industry in Sri Lanka, they have expanded their capacities. That means they see Sri Lanka as a potential investment destination. Of course, there are challenges, but then that's why we are here at HK. We're trying to support them to overcome these hurdles and speaking to the governments and also support them.
Right. Martin, would you like to add something to what Malintha said about how AHK supports companies in both countries and facilitates all this?
One very good example, also looking a little bit at German tech, which you mentioned earlier, is vocational training. That is an area where the AHK is actually also supporting the development of more international curricula. We look at the German curricula for certain professions, and we find a local school, a local vocational school, and we find a company who is actually looking to employ those young interns who want to learn a profession with them. And then what we do is we coordinate with the local school, align curricula, and at the end of the day, these young ladies and gentlemen will graduate both, of course, from the Sri Lankan standard, so they get their certificate there, and on top of that, if they pass, they will also get a certificate which is based on the German standards for this specific vocation. No? And that is something which is actually contributing quite a lot to enabling those qualified workers finding good jobs, good job opportunities, better job opportunities, both here in Sri Lanka but also in abroad.
Right. I'd like to take up the subject of the support for small and medium enterprises, but first we need to take a short commercial break. Don't go away, we'll be right back after this.
මම දවස්වල ගොඩක් තනි වෙලා ඉන්නේ කියලා. දැන් මට දැනෙන්නේ නෑ. මට ලස්සන හීනයක් පේනවා. ඇහුණාද? මම තමයි ජොන්සෝනි. හරිම සතුටුයි. මරන්න නේද කිව්වේ?
තමන්ගේ දුව මරන්න පුළුවන් තාත්තලා මේ ලෝකේ ඉන්නවද?
මම හිතුවේ ඔයාට කරදරයක් වෙයි කියලා. නැගිටින්නකෝ. අනන්තින් පියවා everything තරුකුම් හෙට රාත්‍රී 7:30ට
සිරස ටෙලිතිරයෙන්
කරකැවිල්ලයි වමනේ මෙචරික්මට ප්‍රෙග්නන්ට් වෙලාද?
වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේබ.
පොඩි කාලින්දම් මං නාගයන්ගේ කතාවට හරි කැමති. Oh my god, so cool. නේද? මොකක්ද උලේ?
ඒ කෙල්ලයි යාගේ පවුල අයයි අපේ ගෙදර මංගොල්ල ගෑවා.
Welcome back to Face to Face. I am with Martin Klose and Malintha Gajanayake, who are speaking about the Sri Lankan German Business Forum 2026, which is taking place from the 27th to the 29th of May in Colombo. And of course, the Maharaja Media Network is a partner in this program. Martin, this event that you have planned over 3 days is very extensive. There are so many aspects to it. Would you like to go in detail through the program that you are going to have over these 3 days?
Sure, with pleasure. Let me start with the 27th. We will kick the event off at Trace Expert City. Trace is also our partner in this event, together with Asia Berlin and the AHK. We organized already the process of a little pitching contest there. We invited Sri Lankan startup companies who are active in the field of AI to present their business plan, their product to us, and there will be the finalist on stage on 27. Then there will be a couple of speeches, but we keep it rather short on the first day. There will be then the opportunity at the end after the pitch to network, to get to know each other, and start the 3 days off in a note which is, I believe, touching also on a topic where Sri Lanka is also really strong in AI and development of software solutions. All of these topics are also something which we wanted to have in the program as a starter. Let's say like that.
Right. Malintha, would you like to say something about the program itself?
Sure. Yeah, and when we started this, Niresh, we were also, a little bit curious, okay, whether this will kick off. And we are very happy to inform that, we've got a good bunch of partners who have supported us. Our event partners have supported us to take us through to make our lives easy. So yes, and then the second day we will have the whole the program what we discussed earlier, and also the second day in the evening we have dedicated for networking, but also we will give an importance during that networking event for Sri Lankan tourism, where the Deputy Minister of Tourism will give a short speech, and also we will showcase what's on offer, and especially for MICE tourism, because we are expecting the corporate leaders here, both from Sri Lanka and Germany. And I think we thought, okay, this is a good opportunity for us to showcase what's on cards for Sri Lanka to host MICE tourism. So that's why we have dedicated the third session, or the second day last session, for Sri Lankan tourism to promote their products and services. We have Sri Lankan Convention Bureau partnering with us to support this program. And yes, and also I would like to touch on the third day as well. We have dedicated for a few business to business meetings, so that they will have a little bit more time to discuss on businesses and potential collaborations with the companies who are coming in, and also the Sri Lankan companies. Also, we will have few site visits to showcase what can be done in Sri Lanka. So Martin highlighted the importance of vocational training. So we will have a visit to the Demo Training Academy and showcase what's trained there and how the standards are maintained. And also we will also look at another company called Mark Moran, who is producing seafarers from Sri Lanka, well-trained seafarers. So those are the, because that we want to showcase, Niresh, Sri Lanka is not just another country that manufactures apparel. We are high standard, high skill, literacy level high workforce we have, and we want to showcase that.
Excellent. Martin, I'd like to ask you about your support for SMEs, small and medium enterprises. I believe you have quite a program to support Sri Lankan SMEs.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Thanks for the question. Next to the vocational training, the focus on SMEs here in Sri Lanka goes into promoting export-related activities. So what we do is we are representing a couple of the major trade fairs, German trade fairs, and we bring Sri Lankan export-related companies to these trade fairs, organize a perfect program for them, matchmakings, and sometimes we have Sri Lankan pavilions, sometimes it's just a visitor delegation. The special thing about us is I would say we really have the good connections in Germany at that trade fair, and via our sister organizations there, the Chambers of Commerces, we can also reach out to the local business communities there and organize B2B meetings, factory visits, and like a really, really interesting program around only visiting the trade fair. No? So that's a very important part of our business. I believe it's a hands-on support which we can provide there for the Sri Lankan companies in exploring their opportunities in exports.
Adding to that, Niresh, I think what we promote is the importance of being there at trade fairs to promote, to support the Sri Lankan companies to access German or /EU market. We need to build that confidence in our respective partners. So it's important tool that we use, especially for SMEs, to go there to showcase the latest technologies, the standards what they need to maintain to access this highly sophisticated market. That you need to go there. That's something that we do. And we take delegations across almost all sectors, not only agriculture, not only construction, but also other industries that need support, that needs knowledge transfer. We were recently taking a delegation on the packaging industry, which was an eye-opener for us as well, for the delegates who went there, what's expected in 2030, the regulations of EU, how it's going to affect. So are we ready? So those knowledge transfers are quite important for SMEs who also are facing challenges here in Sri Lanka when it tries to export. So I think trade fairs we are using as a tool to access market.
Very good. And Martin, now Malintha mentioned the European Union, the EU, and Germany is in the very center of the EU, the 27 nations of the European Union. So accessing the German market for a Sri Lankan entrepreneur would be accessing the very heart of Europe, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. It's the heart of Europe. It's the spot or the entry for Europe in various markets. Now we do see a very strong engagement into trade fairs, for example, tourism related, food related, and packaging, as Malintha mentioned, and also when it comes to medical trade fairs, right? Medical supplies and Medica, that is a trade fair which is very attractive to visit for Sri Lankan hospitals, for example, to look at, okay, what is the latest technology and available there in Europe. And these trade fairs, which we take them to, are major trade shows where you have all the European, not only German, but also the major European brands. So it's a very good opportunity there to really catch up with the top-notch developments in that specific sector.
Right. And Malintha, outside of Asia, Sri Lanka doesn't have a lot of countries connected through direct flights, but Germany is one of those countries, isn't it?
Absolutely, and that's why I think we have a direct flight to Frankfurt at the moment, which is also supporting our tourism industry. We hope and pray there'll be a lot more direct flights to Germany, different parts of Germany, which is also will support the tourism as well as other industries. And we see there's a good trend looking at Sri Lanka as a good tourism destination worldwide. We have been named in a few leading magazines that Sri Lanka is a destination to be. I think even tourism, Nilesh, if we touch on tourism, it's a low-hanging fruit for Sri Lanka. Germany again has been a reliable partner over the years when it comes to tourism. We currently fluctuate between number 4 and number 5 when it comes to the tourist arrivals. And I think the significant thing about German tourists, they are long stay tourist guests and repeat guests. And we have seen that over the years, and also their spending pattern is ideal for a country like Sri Lanka. They are quite different and they're unique. Also, when it comes to Ayurvedic tourism, German tourists are quite fans of Sri Lankan Ayurvedic. So there are a lot of things when it comes to tourism, and also they explore most of the cities throughout their journey here in Sri Lanka, and that's quite interesting when we see the numbers we have. As I said, the world's largest tour operator who bring down, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's over 50% of Sri Lanka, the tourists come to Sri Lanka coming through the tour operators especially after the pandemic, because of the insurance schemes, etc. So that's important that we promote Sri Lanka in a strategic way to promote tourism, Sri Lanka as a destination in Germany/EU as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to add on also, tourism can also be an opener for further activities, right? But because if you are, let's say, the managing director of a small or medium-sized or even a bigger enterprise, and you visit Sri Lanka, you spend 2 weeks doing medical tourism here, you fall in love with the country, then you go back home with a positive impression. Of course, investment decisions and major business decisions are not made purely on this impressions that you take home, but it helps to contribute. You may look at it with a more positive kind of view from the beginning. It's better than the other way around now, or if you never heard about the country. So that's I believe a serious door opener also it can be for further activities.
Sure, even the business community who comes to Sri Lanka, Nilesh, most of them go out of Sri Lanka with a wow feeling. Who have just heard about Sri Lanka, the impression when they come here and when they depart is quite a interesting experience. We have spoken to the business community who come in and out, and they say, oh, this is not what we expected. The cleanliness of the country, the people's attitudes, the smile, Sri Lankan smile, that gives a message, so that's what we think, as Martin correctly mentioned, tourism can open doors for many of the industries.
Right. In fact, you mentioned several USPs, unique sales propositions, which we in Sri Lanka, we take these for granted, but we don't market those aspects very well. And then when visitors from overseas come to Sri Lanka, they are so pleasantly surprised because they haven't, all these aspects haven't been pitched to them. So I think with Germany, Germany, I believe, was the number 3 source market for tourists for generations, I think, for many decades. And now it's somewhere around number 4 or number 5. But I think, would it be fair to say that tourism led to much of the German investment into Sri Lanka, including trade?
Well, if we see, Niresh, some of the investments coming from Germany are through this first-time visitors, and then had seen the country, and as Martin mentioned, fell in love with the country, the people, and the standards. Exactly. And then it turned out to be a business case for them. Yes. With our location for exports, with our connectivity. They have seen this as a good destination. So that revolves through the tourism industry.
There are also examples which yes. I can highlight just one. We see people also, business people, who travel to Sri Lanka quite a lot, and then they started to invest together with a partner in a joint venture structure into building up some little hotel or retirement home, all of these business ideas, which are great, I believe. They come directly from tourism. No? That is for sure happening.
And Sri Lankans and the German people seem to get along very well, because there's quite a significant Sri Lankan community in Germany, people who have migrated to Germany, isn't there?
Yes, there is. It's a significant amount of Sri Lankans living in Germany, doing different kind of jobs. Some are studying. We also have organizations here like the DAAD who are supporting to go to study in Germany. That is happening quite a lot. And then once you studied there, some are staying also for a longer while, finding employment. I believe from AHK's side, this is also a very important multiplicator of the business climate or the cultural climate which they are kind of promoting as ambassadors in Germany, right? They will showcase the hospitality, the friendliness of the Sri Lankan people there, or the diligent and sophisticated kind of how they work, how they learn. And that is certainly also helping to shape the view of Sri Lanka as a country, as a tourism destination or as an investment destination within the German community.
Absolutely. And I'm afraid we're out of time, but just a reminder, the Sri Lankan German Business Forum 2026 is on the 27th, the 28th and the 29th of May at Trace Expert City and the ITC Ratnadeepa. My thanks to Martin Klose, Chief Delegate of AHK Sri Lanka, that's the Delegation of German Industry and Commerce in Sri Lanka, and Malintha Gajanayake, Head of Corporate Affairs and Export Promotion at AHK Sri Lanka. Thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Thank you very much for having us.
And thank you to you at home for watching. Don't go away because the news is coming up next. Have a great evening.
TV1. TV for life. The United States